Okay, maybe we're getting somewhere now. It looks like I might have figured out the gremlins here. Looks like we have people pouring in. If I can get a little response here, if someone could go in the Q&A or the comments here and say something to let us know that you're alive, that would be really, really cool. If you can hear me, maybe you can't. Can everyone hear me now? Possibly. All right. If everyone's seeing anything, you can put in the Q&A or in the let's see, do we have anything else? We have Q&A, we have participants, Paul, yeah, tape. And now we're just gonna give a couple minutes for people to catch up and actually get in there. Does it look like we're good? You can hear me, can you see me? Doesn't matter if you can see me, if you can see this cool picture of our liveness on here. Most importantly, let me ask my one guy here. Let's ask our guest if he can see. All right. Let's see if he's on here. And if he's on here, we will get going. Looks like we have a lot of attendees flying in right now, so I do apologize for this. This is why I'm Rob the House Guy, not Rob the Computer Guy, because as cool as I think I am setting all this stuff up, I got to be honest, there's a little tiny button on here that says broadcast or practice only mode. And if you leave it in practice only mode, you know what happens? Only I can see it. So my phone is blowing up, my computer's blowing up, everyone's saying they can't get in here. And then now we're finally looking like we're rocking a little bit. And we have everybody coming in. Let's see my attendees here. Okay, yeah, it looks like we have some people coming in here. You will need to raise your hand as people pop in. So, all right, tonight is going to be a fantastic meeting. What we're doing is we're bringing you some really great guests on here, the people that you can really learn from, people that are in the business, people that are real, and telling their story, and not only their story, but educating you on exactly what you can implement in your business after you hear what they say to take you to the next level. And the best part about it, there's no big sales pitch at the end. The only pitch is maybe you join RIA and support us, but that's it. There's no fancy books, courses, anything else to buy, no mentoring programs, coaching programs. You are really just going to hear from the experts and get to ask them questions, and they will just blindly answer these things for you to help you get everything going. So I do apologize for the delay here today again, but we are going to go ahead and kick this off. So RIA, Greater Cleveland RIA exists for networking educational purposes. When you meet or make a connection through us here online or in a live event, it is your responsibility to do your own due diligence and make your own informed decisions on doing or not doing business with that individual or that company. Although you may get advice from someone in our group, one of our experts, or an experienced member, it is really your responsibility to go and check them out on your own and seek your own advice. So in other words, just take responsibility for your own actions. So here's what you can expect tonight. We're going to go through and spend a few minutes with our vendors, and all you vendors get lined up here. So what you can do is raise your hand, and I will bring you on so you can spend a few seconds talking about your product or service as we get going here and get kicking. And then we're going to move on to tonight's speaker. So you're going to get a chance to ask them questions or put anything up there, and we'll get those answers. And for all the attendees, what you do is we're going through with our guest speaker, put your questions in the box. There's a Q&A box on there. Either myself or the speaker is going to answer them, but we're going to get everything answered so you leave here with all the information you came here looking for. We're going to try to keep this event for just over an hour. I'm going to try to go pretty quickly. I know it's a beautiful night out. I think it's 85 degrees and sunny, and it's pretty rare for Cleveland. So try to get you in and out of here pretty quick, but educated. But if you wish and things look like they're going great, then we might just drag it out a little bit longer to make sure you get more content. And you can miss any of this. You can find us on Cleveland, Ohio Real Estate on Facebook. That is our Facebook page on there. That's where you can find some properties, list some properties, and also catch recordings. We will start also going live on Facebook. However, we did not do that just yet here. So here we go here. Let's keep on. Let's get started. And boom, get this here. All right, let's start out here. We have first on deck, we have auction.com. Do we have anyone from auction.com on here that can raise their hand that wants to speak real quick? If not, I'm going to go ahead and speak for you on here. All right, auction.com is an amazing company. They are really taking all this auction stuff with foreclosures and bank-owned properties to a new level. They're taking us into the 2020 level on here. No more sitting in share sales, bidding like crazy. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. They're amazing. We're actually in the process of closing one with auction.com right now. And they make it very, very simple, very informative, very easy to work with these folks. They answer your calls. They answer your questions. You can go ahead and go to auction.com and check out their inventory. Very cool, very easy to work with. Thanks, auction.com, for all of your support. Next, we have Preferred Security, which I see them. They just popped on here for just a second here. Where are you? Raise your hand, Preferred Security. There we go. This is where all the, where did you, let's see. Do you raise your hand, Preferred? You raised it, then unraised it. Down here. So I saw you, you came and you gone. So we couldn't hear you. So Preferred Security. Oh, did you come back here? No, so we need to get an extra person on here to raise their hand, to handle all the hand raising stuff to go through this while I'm trying to talk. Preferred Security, they are an amazing company. Here's what's great about them. There's no contracts. All these vacant houses we have that people like to go shopping for furnaces, water tanks, and copper, they can put a portable security system that works off of cell phone towers, and they can move it from house to house. I can tell you, I was cheap and did not use them one time, and we actually had a house all finished, gorgeous. Someone needed our furnace and water tank more than we did. Well, guess what? We went ahead, replaced furnace and water tank, and now we put them in there, and guess who returned? Someone returned, got the call, saved our stuff. Best money we ever spent. So Preferred Security, and they also do some longer term contracts as well if you want them for your own primary residence, but they are fantastic for the vacant properties. J-Dog, are you on here? You already raise your hand? Okay, J-Dog. J-Dog is a clean out company. They're amazing. They are located here in Northeast Ohio, and they are great for doing trash outs. You have a tenant that leaves behind all of their stuff. J-Dog can come in there and get it all picked up and hauled away for you. Because guess what? The garbage bin will not take all of that stuff. And you do not want to put on your tree lawn because the city will give you big fines for having it out there early. So go ahead and give J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling a call. Next, we have Morningstar Property Cleanup. Let's just call it what it is. That's Leroy. Leroy Kine. We all know Leroy. Believe it or not, I met Leroy years ago when he was just a young Amish boy coming over to my house on a horse and buggy. And I had no idea his name of his company was Morningstar until I saw it in front of me on a PowerPoint a few weeks ago. But Leroy's a great guy. Them and J-Dog, they both work hand in hand, do the same things. They do cleanups, haulaways. Best thing about them is all reliable, very, very competitive in price compared to dumpsters. And the cool thing is they come in with a dump trailer, throw the stuff in there, haul it away, and you don't have all the neighbors filling up your dumpster with all their trash, so you're not paying to clean up the neighborhood. You're just paying to clean up your house. Next, Professional Eye Home Inspection. Do we have him on here? Do we have Matt on here? Let's see a hand raised. Nope. Okay, so Matt, he does home inspection. So if you're one of these out-of-state buyers and you're looking at properties in the Cleveland market and you need a second set of eyes on it that is unbiased and will just give you an honest third-party opinion, you would want to give Matt a telephone call. His number is on the screen here, and he can go through and find a lot of things that you probably will miss on your own. So Professional Eye Home Inspection. Next, Service Soul. Service Soul is actually owned by none other than Mike Dennis. He is one of our home team people. A lot of you know him because he actually teaches the Greater Cleveland RIA University, which should be kicking up here again shortly, which as a member, you are allowed to attend. It's a great class. It's a few weeks long, and it's step by step by step. It tells you exactly how to get kicked off in real estate investing. And even if you're an old veteran like me, you can learn a lot in a class like this. Mike teaches it just like he would a college class. So now I've told you about Mike, let me tell you about Service Sold. Service Sold is a great way to get contractors because what it is, it's a reverse bidding system. So if you have a house and you're trying to get flooring or drywall or kitchens or baths or whatever it is. You take pictures, you take measurements, you put a list of what you want done, you put what your budget is to get it done labor-wise, and then from there you put it on, and contractors bid on a reverse system. So one might say, I could do it for $10,000. Someone else might say $9,900, $9,800, $9,700. Then you get to pick and choose who you want to use. So Service Sold, there's a link here on the Greater Cleveland REIA website, and take a look at them. They're great to get you a contract out there. Next, we have MDG Flooring. MDG Flooring, they are located in Medina, Ohio. Fantastic, solid surface flooring company as well as carpet. Great for rentals, rehabs, whatever. Best part about them, they're super reliable, super honest, know what they're doing. And what I really love is they make my headaches go away. Because if they have someone call off or they have an issue or there's something wrong, they take care of it on their end, and I don't have to hear about all the drama. Fantastic company, and the best part, they really don't cost any more than going and trying to sub it out yourself and figure everything out. So you can go ahead and give MDG Flooring a call for all your flooring needs. You can give Steve Wobalt a call. His number is on the screen. Next, we have a large general contractor here, Fade Construction, Norman Robertson. He's good for very big jobs, multi-faceted jobs that have lots of moving parts everywhere, from gut outs to bathrooms to kitchens to roofs. Managing general management of the entire job from beginning to the end. If you don't want to handle any of it and you don't want to go through and mess around with any of the subcontractors, this man can handle it all, and his number here is on the screen. Okay, Parker Concrete. These guys are amazing for all of your underground work, for fixing all your driveways up, putting sewer lines in, drain tiles in. Amazing guys. Parker Concrete, free estimates. Go ahead. They're out of Doylestown, Ohio, but they travel all over Northeast Ohio. You can call Ty Parker directly right there on the screen. Next, we have Triple D. Triple D is a block company. They can dig up foundations. This is a picture. It's an actual picture of one of our projects we were doing that we literally jacked the whole house up and had to put walls in and set it back down. These guys are great for doing all the tough stuff that's underground, as well as doing the gas lines, the underground sewer lines, much like Parker Concrete. These guys handle a lot of the same stuff with all the blocks. You can give Don Campbell a call. The number is here on the screen. And anytime I'm seeing numbers on the screen, it is also on our website, guys. Fairway Mortgage, Richard Bailey. Is Rich Bailey here to raise his hand? Rich Bailey is a longtime 20-year loan officer. I've known this guy for a long time. He is a wizard at these numbers. He's worked at banks. He's worked at mortgage companies. And although Fairway is a great sponsor, Rich Bailey is a great representative for Fairway. This guy really, really knows his business. So whether you're trying to refinance your real estate portfolio, buy an investment property, or sell one of your properties to an end user or one of your tenants, he can answer quickly exactly if he is or is not able to get somebody financed, because that is a problem in this industry. A lot of people will tell you they're able to finance and then it falls apart. Not with Rich at Fairway. This guy really takes care of you. The number is here on the screen. iPlan Group. Do we have Roberta here from iPlan Group? Or Joe Banner, one of you two on there? iPlan Group is a third-party self-directed IRA custodian. And what they do is they make it possible for you to take your 401k IRA and make it truly self-directed, where you can own real estate inside of your retirement account. It's absolutely amazing. They're located in Westlake. And the best thing about iPlan Group, they are super simple and easy to deal with, very knowledgeable, and they can get your money in and out in a hurry without a lot of headache. Go ahead and give iPlan Group a call. Their number is on the screen. Next, I know we have this gentleman up. I'm going to allow him to talk for himself. This is Angelo Russo for Russo and Ricky. Go ahead, Angelo. You on there? Oh, you should be unmuted.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted, sir. Go ahead.
All right. I sort of wanted to hear you speak. I mean, you've been giving such great commercials for everyone.
Well, thank you, sir. I could give you a commercial too, I'm sure.
We're a general purpose law firm. We can help with evictions, property violations, bankruptcy, short sales, foreclosures, if you have someone that needs probate done, whatever it is, we can guide you through the transaction from beginning to end, make sure it goes through smoothly. So if you have a question about something real estate related, I've probably done every part of it from beginning to end.
Yes, you have. All right. So give Angelo a call there. Thank you, Ange. All right. We have Michael Norris on deck. You have Mike Norris on here if you want to talk. Mike Norris is a insurance agent extraordinaire with Farmers Insurance, but he does not just deal with farmers. He is not a captive agent. He deals with just about everybody. Amazing guy, gets a lot of stuff done, and he can help you with those vacant properties that are so tough to insure. So give Mike Norris a call at 216-831-0400. Sorry to give anyone else's number out, but give him a short commercial so I had time to do that. Do we have David Streeter on board here? David Streeter? Dave Streeter is another real estate attorney in town. David and Angelo are competitors, but also friends, and they are both geniuses at real estate law. David is great for handling foreclosures and a lot of that tough stuff, just like Angelo is. So a lot of times when David's busy, you call Angelo. When Angelo's busy, you call David. But they are both fantastic guys. I've used them both, and definitely need someone like David or Angelo in your corner while you're putting deals together, because tell you what, the law gets tricky. You can give Mr. Streeter a call here at the number on the screen. Do I have him on there anywhere? Oh, okay. Keep on moving now. Next, we have Mr. Alan Bruschi. Now, I talked to Bruschi before. He said he was going to be on. Alan, if you're here, you can raise your hand, and I will put you on. Otherwise, I'll do a commercial for you. Okay, so Alan Bruschi, he is with a Specialized IRA trust company here. Another self-directed IRA company. They're out of the Midwest. They are great. They have an office here in Ohio. And these guys are also extremely knowledgeable in how to structure the tricky deals with solo 401ks, self-directed IRAs, and making sure that you can keep all the tax advantages inside of your retirement accounts while buying real estate or real estate mortgages and notes with them. Very easy to work with for putting money out, just like iPlan Group is, and easy to connect with. Alan always answers his phone and text. And his number is right there on the screen, so give him a call. Now we have North Coast Commercial Group. This is a hard money lender, Neil Wolf, right here in Cleveland. Love these guys, absolutely amazing. I deal with them all the time. Not only do they do private money, they do some longer term money to take you out of those hard money loans. So if you have a real estate portfolio, I believe they can do financing on the entire portfolio. And the great part about it is, I think it's 70% loan to value, 7% interest, and only deal with a 620 score on investment properties. Not bad. It's really good with a long-term note with a 30-year with no balloon. So as far as their private money, they will do the acquisition and they'll also do the repairs on it. However, you will need to pay the points up front. Very minimal in points, decent interest rates. Not bad guys to work with at all. Go ahead and give Neil Wolf a call with the number there on the screen. Now we have Equity Trust. Equity Trust is the 800-pound gorilla. They are also a self-directed IRA custodian. They're located in Westlake, and you can tell by the size of their building about the size of their business. Dick Desich owns this company, and he's been running around since the 70s, and actually was the guy that went to the IRS and figured all this out so you can own real estate in your retirement account, so you can give him a high five when you see him. Guys are really big, very knowledgeable, and they're right here in Westlake, and you can give Kent a call, and his number is here on the screen. I'm almost done. We are finally here with the Open Mind LLC Commercial Cleaning. Do we have Open Mind on here? Do we have Rebecca? Do I see her hand raising? Nope. Okay. So Rebecca, what they can do is these guys do a lot of that finish work type stuff, the stuff we all hate doing for investors and property managers to go in there and not only clean up the mess from the last tenant, but also get it painted, make it look good, that final clean, fresh smell. Think about this. Would you want to go stay in a hotel room that the last person left the way it was, or would you want it to look clean and fresh and nice? Well, that's how they make it look for your next tenant or the person that's going to buy your project after you got done messing it all up with all the construction. So go ahead and give Rebecca a call at the number on the screen. And now it is time. We are here, man. We are here with Mr. Nick Phipps, and I'm going to bring him on live with us here. Nick, you there? Talk. I got you here.
What's going on, Rob? You hear me?
I can hear you, sir. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. You turn this down? Yeah, you got us? Okay.
We got you on here. So I apologize, Nick, for botching up your your interview here tonight. I had a little technical difficulties, but I'm certainly glad to have you on here. And to really start out by giving everyone a little background about this guy. Nick is really a hometown guy. He grew up in a Slavic village right on the east side. And it wasn't the redeveloping Slavic village that we know today. It was the Slavic village of yesterday. Between the Slovaks and what we're making it, he was right there in that time. Really wasn't the scholar in school. I mean, I believe you went to school to what grade, Nick?
Fifth.
The fifth grade. But I think officially it might say eighth on your on your transcripts.
Yeah, definitely will. That was part of the Bill Clinton, the no kid left behind, I do believe.
Yeah, and I think you got left behind. and went on to have a few more run-ins as a young adult with the law, and went on to come out, and that's where I met Nick. This young man came walking in the office one day, wholesaling a house, and I didn't know exactly who he was, and I could tell he was sharp, though. He was a sharp guy, and he really knew what he was talking about. And then I literally blinked, and he went from just a small wholesaler over here messing around, walking in the office, to someone that was just taking over the whole city. So welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
So why don't you start out and tell us, how did you get started? Like, what sparked you first to get excited about real estate investing? Was it a late night TV commercial, or what was it?
Yeah, no. So it's crazy. So at 30 years old, I decided to retire. I thought I'd retire. I cashed out here in the Cleveland market. I owned a car lot, several rental properties, and I moved to Florida. I moved to Florida, did some investing with a family member. Ended up opening a car lot in Florida. Ended up buying about 26 properties in Florida, and ended up learning about business the hard way, learning about operating agreements and stuff like that. So long story short, I ended up losing everything to my cousin. I owned a house that sat on the Gulf of Mexico. He ended up evicting me out of my own house, and I had to come back up to Ohio and live with actually my mother-in-law. So I came back up to Ohio. I had two small children, my wife and myself, living in just a little room in Elyria, Ohio. And I actually stumbled across the business I'm in now off an Instagram post. There was somebody on Instagram talking about they made $5,000 down or $5,000 with no money down real estate. And I remember thinking, like, this dude's a fucking liar. There's no way. I bought real estate plenty of times, and there's no way to make money off real estate with no money down. And from there, I just kind of dug in deep. Started doing research. At the time, Periscope was really huge. There was a couple of the larger guys in the real estate industry that was kind of promoting themselves or was on the Periscope scheme, and I kind of just followed them. And from there, I just did a bunch of self-educate. I just dug in everything on YouTube, personal development, and just went from there.
Wow. So all of this off of just an Instagram post got you back excited about real estate.
Correct. Yeah, it was Instagram. And me, actually, and I kind of wish I can remember who it was that I seen that I called a liar. In hindsight, you're not you have to have money to make money, but the guy kind of pushed me to dig a little deeper.
Okay, so now they started pushing you to dig deeper. Now you got involved. Tell us about your first deal after your resurgence, after being evicted out of your own house on the Gulf of Mexico and coming back to Cleveland, living in a small little house in Elyria. Now you're ready to get kicking again. How did you find your first house? Because there's so many people that are trying to get going and they don't even know where to begin. So let's walk through that first deal.
Yeah, so I started self-educating, kind of digging in, and what I found that worked best where I was at was probate. So we have Cleveland, Lorain counties. Cleveland, you can kind of find all the probate information online. Lorain County is a little more deep. You have to actually go into the courthouse and dig. So I kind of went into Lorain County. I pulled files. I pulled probate leads with properties that was attached to them, alongside with Cuyahoga County, and I pulled in with direct marketing, right? With direct mail, they won't let you send out a mailing campaign unless it's 100 properties or more. So I had to kind of combine the list of 100 properties. And then I sent out a direct mail campaign. And from that direct mail campaign, of course, I got calls back. It was my first couple calls. Dealing with probates a little different than dealing with absentee owners or homeowners or whatnot. So I kind of had to learn quick on my feet and deal with them, and that's why I got my first couple deals was actually from the probate market.
Wow. So when you talk about a campaign, so this probate, does that mean like you just hit them one time with a postcard, or did you hit them multiple times, this same list of 100?
Yeah, so initially I sent out the 100. I think the first one was 102 or 104 or something. So I sent out that postcard or that campaign, and during the period, of course, I was going back to the courthouse. I was back online, pulling additional leads and building another mailing list. So I sent out another one. So I sent out, I think it was like 102, 104 or something. I sent out another 100 and something. But from them first two campaigns is where I actually got my first couple leads. Well, I got my first couple leads until that turned into my first couple deals.
Okay, so you're not just hitting that list one time, one postcard. They're getting multiple pieces from you over a period of time.
Yes, correct. Well, definitely now. I mean, then I was new. It was like, hey, let's just send it out. But yeah, like then I think I mailed to them list probably 2-3 times. Now I actually mailed to the list multiple times, and I hit my list in different avenues also, like RVMs and text. But yeah, but then I was still brand new to the game. I think I only hit my list maybe 2-3 times.
Right. So I think this is a learning point here. If we're going to have a writer down, this is the one thing. Even getting started, and this is why I see so many people fall off, because just like me, Nick, you were the same thing. How many times you get one postcard from one person and that's it, and the houses you buy, and they don't keep hitting you and talking to you and trying. And then if you do call them back, they don't answer the phone half the time, which is going to get us to our next step here in a second.
Oh my God, all the time, right?
All the time. It's like,
or from like the biggest thing is the Google Voice subscriber is not available, or the Google Voice subscriber, please leave your name for the Google Voice subscriber. Like, what is going on here?
Exactly. So really, you took massive action, didn't have everything perfect. You were like Windows 3.1. You weren't the perfected version, but you didn't wait until you were perfect. You went ahead and you started mailing, and you mailed the hardest list to actually go after, which is probates, which we all know in probate, it's not always an easy conversation to have with these folks when you're calling them.
No, 100%. Like probate. Then I learned quick. With probate leads, you don't want to let them know that you're targeting them because they're probate leads, right? You want to kind of play them off like they're the same as like a absentee owners or owner occupied or whatnot, that you're just reaching out to them. My first couple conversations was like, hey, I see somebody died, and I'm reaching out to you to see if you're looking to sell the properties. And as you know, that didn't go too far with the individual that was on the other line.
Oh yeah, it's definitely tough. So, all right. So now you start sending out your first 100. And maybe you're hitting them a second time. You've added some more people on the list. Maybe there's another 100, but some more people. So at this point in time, you might have 200-300 postcards floating around with your name and your telephone number on them. That
Right.
You're getting inbound calls. And you made the joke about the Google Voice, which I know all too often. That's exactly what I call these people. It's always the Google Voice subscriber.
Yep.
Unavailable. So what do you use to track your calls? Like, these are going to your cell phone, or where are they going?
Yeah, so initially I did have a Google Voice, but I forgot who it was. That somebody that I seen it, or I talked to somebody that I actually removed that part that gives you that option when you actually call the Google Voice number that says the Google Voice subscriber is not available, or the please leave your name and we'll see if the Google voice subscriber is available, right? So I removed that from that initial call. So maybe for my first 6 months or so, I did use a Google Voice, but it didn't have that that message that was in the beginning. So it actually came directly to my cell phone. And what I did is that I had that phone number programmed in my cell phone, and the name on it was like direct mail, right? So that when my phone rang, it said direct mail. I knew what kind of phone call it was. So when I answered the phone call, I was prepared and ready to take the actual lead.
Nice. That's exactly how you have to do it. So you identified that this is a money call, that this call is costing you money when that phone rings, so you'd better answer it.
100%. 100%.
Okay. So we're going to just keep talking real quick about where this first deal went. Then we're going to rewind a little bit and talk about what you were doing to what you are doing now, and maybe do some screen share, and you could share some of your system with us if you don't mind.
Gotcha. Perfect.
All right. So now the phone's ringing. You're telling people, hey, sorry about your loss. However, they couldn't take their house with them. So now maybe I can buy it. Tell us about your first deal you got off of this.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So I actually got combined multiple deals, right? So I got one deal in Wellington, and I ended up getting like a 5-pack deal or whatnot, right? So so through the 200 or 300 postcards I sent out, I got multiple leads in. Through the multiple leads, I got multiple contracts. And from them contracts, there was multiple opportunities, right? And then so like one of them was a single family home in Wellington. I picked up, I believe, for $70K. And then another one was a 5-pack deal of houses in Elyria, which Rob, you should be familiar with. Them were the properties I sold you. So within the time that I actually broke down and learned about wholesaling and immersed myself in studying to send out a direct mail campaign, it took me about 4 months from the time I learned, did my probate pool, did my marketing, analyzed the deals, to where I sold them to where I made about $35,000. So like my first couple of deals, and mind you, it wasn't off one deal.
Right.
It was a collection of 3 different transactions, but all 3 transactions closed in the same week, which combined to about $35K. And from that $35K, I knew, I was like, holy crap, with me owning car lots, I owned multiple other businesses at the time. I said, I can turn this into a real business.
Right. And that's one thing that I've always noticed about you. I mean, I've watched you make money. I've seen you on several deals. You and I have done several deals together. And you never see you standing next to a Lamborghini on Facebook. You take a lot of your money and reinvest it back into the company for growth and
Sure.
to more deals, which I love that about you. That's why you're on here now, because you're the real deal. You're not one of these guys out there just showboating. So now let's talk about going back. And now, how does it look? Are you still doing a 100-piece direct mail, or what's your largest direct mail campaign you've sent out now?
So about $33,000 a month.
About $33,000 a month you're spending on direct mail.
Yeah. So that's what 33,000 a month is what I'm sending out. Direct mail campaign costs roughly about 11.5. So for the 33,000 costs about 11 grand, 11.5.
Okay. So I imagine this is blowing your telephone up now.
Yeah, well, that's just one source of it. Is direct mail. Direct mail is like the consistent marketing. It's the one that's the most proven. On top of direct mail, we do like RVM. We do text blast. We do like Facebook and some stuff like that. But yeah, but direct mail is one of our largest marketing campaigns.
Awesome. So now these calls are coming in. I really highly doubt they're coming to your cell phone now, just saying direct mail call or Facebook campaign call.
Right.
What phone system are you using now to handle these calls coming in?
Yeah, so I actually use a phone system called Vumber. It's actually a VoIP phone system. I own, I think 53. Is it 53? I think I own 53 numbers. With Vumber, of course, each Vumber number is associated to a different form of marketing. And when I state different forms, it could be multiple forms of direct mail, but it could be like vacant, owner occupied, absentee owner, high equity, low equity. So I attach a different phone number to each one of my marketing campaigns so I can see which marketing channel is generating the most rev and which one is generating the most leads.
Okay, now what I find is with because I actually you turned me on to Vumber years ago. I use Vumber as well. I love it. Great service. So when people are texting you on Vumber, you have people responding to the text messages as well?
Yes, yeah, correct. So what I did, so I use a different software than most people, right? I got probably a little over 100K invested into my CRM. I use a system called Podio, but with Podio, it's built out to a sense where I have its own workplace for it's called a acquisition text. And through that acquisition text workplace, the guys are able to communicate back and forth with sellers through the text part of it. And when the seller actually raised their hand, they're able to click a button and is able to get pushed over from the text workplace to the actual seller leads for the actual process.
Wow, nice, pretty high tech stuff, man. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, so now your people that are answering the calls live, and I don't know if you might still be doing some. Do you have in-house people or are you using virtual assistants?
Correct. Yeah. So we're majority just in-house. I'm like real big like on the team aspect, right? If we all can't win, then it isn't fun. So everybody, well, like 95% of people I bring in are in-house to where we can communicate, we can hang out. We can go to lunch and get drunk or do whatever that we do, right? So,
okay, that's good. So, yeah, I think it's really important. This is a learning point here too that I've always found that your first point of communication when someone's calling you in off something that you mailed out or you spent money on Facebook or whatever it is, it's costing you money to get that phone call in. Correct. The last thing you want to do is waste that on an untrained virtual assistant that barely speaks English.
Right.
And it's no disrespect to somebody that speaks English. I'm impressed that they can speak English and their native language because that's one more language than I can speak. But it's a horrible representation for a first impression. So I like that about you, that you keep your guys in-house, and as long as they call before lunch, you're probably having a pretty decent conversation with your sellers.
More likely. All
right. So now that they're calling in, how are you handling going out to seeing the properties? What happens next? I call Nick off your direct mail. I get one of you or one of your cronies there in the office, and I say, "Yep, it seems like I want to sell. I have a house that's worth 100. I can take 60 for it." What happens next?
Yeah. So what happened with the guys in my office, right? So like our main objective is to actually get a PA signed up over the phone, right? So we don't want to waste our time by going out and seeing the property if we don't have control of it, right? Because as you know, and many people on the calls knows that we're not the only person that the seller is calling, right? So we like to evaluate the property up over the phone. We have systems and access to systems that we can evaluate the property, and we like to find out like what's the reason why that they're selling, right? And then we can evaluate the property. We can give them an offer up over the phone based on the information that they give us. So we technically don't go out and inspect the property or see the property or set up a showing until we have them committed to us buying the property.
Okay. So are you using DocuSign? Are you sending them a PDF to sign, print, and scan back to you, or how are you getting them signed?
Yeah, so we're actually doing a DocuSign. So what we like to do is that we like to we like to talk to them and walk them through our purchase agreement, right? One, we don't call it a contract. Contracts are too intimidating. They scare people. People's like, oh my God, I'm getting caught up in the contract. So we like to call them a purchase agreement. We call them a PA. It sounds better. It's comfortable, right? It doesn't scare the people, and we kind of walk them through like, okay, let's go over our purchase agreement, see if there's anything in there that sticks out, anything that you don't like, or anything that you don't understand. And if there is, I'm on the phone right now to answer the question. And if all goes well, then we can sign it right now.
I like that. So what you're doing is you're getting them on the phone. I say, yes, I want to do this with you. Now you're taking the time to type up the purchase agreement, put it into DocuSign while you're on the phone, or are you calling them back 5 minutes later after you email it?
No, so this is one thing with my system, right? So like with my system that's built out, we just fill in the blanks, right? So our purchase agreement is automatically connected to our Podio. So the guys can just put in the seller's name. They go to myplace.com or to whatever county that it's in that the seller's property is located in. They take the name or the LLC off the county auditor website. They add it to the system. They add in our purchase price. They add in our EMD. If there's any additional notes, our closing time. So just a couple spaces in our system that the guys have to fill out. And all they got to do is like hit generate PA, connect it to DocuSign, and it kind of just automatically populates it. Right, so that we're not going back and forth and going to Word and filling in seller's name, filling in our names, filling in purchase price, filling in addresses. We kind of got our stuff that's automatic, that it's auto populated.
Awesome. Now, is DocuSign also tied in with your Podio system?
So it actually is, yes. So we actually have DocuSign that's connected.
Okay. So here's a couple points I really like what you said. One, you instantly have all their data as you're talking to them, putting it in there and populating the purchase agreement. I like that you're taking the time to go over this with them, because I really probably have one of the simplest purchase agreements in the world.
You do. I've seen it, Rob. You do. I've seen it. I think it's like on a napkin or something, right? Or
It's simple, man, because a confused mind will say no.
Yeah.
If you give someone a 7-page document with small print, they're just going to go to their attorney. They're going to pick it apart. You're going to go back and forth for 6 months trying to buy a house that you should have already been done with the deal at that point. So I love simplicity. I love that you go over this with them. I love that you do DocuSign and you're gaining control before you ever step foot in their house. And I'm assuming that if I tell you $60,000, once you step foot in the house, now the negotiations are going to begin.
What 100%. So it's like a psychological thing, right? It's called the power commitment, right? So majority of these sellers are not true investors. They're kind of like one-offs. They either inherit the property, and I'm not taking nothing from nobody. Like home ownership's huge. A lot of people think, hey, I buy a house, it's going to change my life, but they don't understand what comes with it, and then that what gets them into the point to where they have to sell to individuals like us that understands the market, understands the property, understands the area, right? So what we do though is we have we call it the power commitment, right? So if they want 60, normally we negotiate with them some going over facts. We go over what recent comps are sold in the area. We go over if they tell us the property only needs this much work, we kind of explain to them what other properties are selling for with in that condition. But then once we go to it, normally their vision and our vision is two totally different visions for our back end, right? And then we actually come back to them with facts, right? We come back with pictures, with reports, with inspection reports and all that, and we explain to them the reason why we're going to offer them. And it's the power commitment. Again, most of these people are one-offs. So they already got the money spent inside their head, right? So if they're wanting $60K, they're already visioning themselves going out and buying a car, buying, shoes, clothes, going on a vacation. But then when you bring hard facts to them, and again, I'm not taking away from them. This isn't like I'm preying on them. It's just giving them facts, and they don't want to lose the money, right? So right. So that's where we're at on that.
Okay, now let's clarify. When you say we go out there, I'm assuming you're not going out there anymore. Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
But are you using the same person that had the initial call, spoke with them? Are you taking that person and also having them go out and walk the house to solidify the deal, or are you switching people at that point?
No, so like 90% of the time, no, it's somebody different, right? The guys that talk to them on the phone and whatnot, they'll be the one that be recommunicating with them. We either send one of our rehab guys or one of our inspectors out there to kind of just take pictures, take an inspection report. Mind you, when they're there, they're expressing to the people like who they are, like who they work for, like the reason there. So it's like one big family. It's not like it's not like strangers or different people going out. We kind of, when the guys talk to the seller, they express, okay, look, we're going to send our inspector out there. He's going to come out. He's going to take some pictures. He's going to do an inspection report, kind of evaluate the property. He's going to bring back the information, and we're going to go for a run there. So like 90% of the time, 95% of the time, it isn't. Occasionally it is. It is one of the guys in the office that answers the phone and whatnot, just because being in the office sucks sometimes, and they build a really good rapport with the seller, and that's the only person that they want to see.
All right. So when you're going in there and you're renegotiating, are you bringing the contract with you, just crossing it out, initialing right there?
Nope. So we don't ever do that again. So the reason of us going to the house is just for the inspection, right? Just for the inspection of the property, to see condition, to talk to tenants if it's vacant or occupied. So there's per se no negotiation or nothing right there at the property.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Now you have the contract. You have 30 business days or whatever to close it. Talk about your buyers list. How big a buyers list do you have?
I think it's 33 right now, or 34,000.
Yeah. Not 33, 34 people, 34,000 people.
Yeah, 34,000. Yes, correct.
Which is ridiculous. That's a huge number.
Correct.
So you haven't been in this business that long. I mean, you're not, 20 years. How did you build a list so big so fast?
So, dude, so like, it's crazy, right? So like, you can find buyers, right? Like buyers are everywhere. You can find the one-off guys, or you can find the seasoned investors, right? So you actually mentioned somebody at the beginning of the show, like Joe Libra. So Joe Libra was one of the first individuals that reached out to me. And then I actually remember, like I was doing I think a Craigslist post or something saying, hey, I have properties, or I might've put a property out there saying that I had one. And Joe actually was one of the first people that reached out to me like, hey, I'm actually a real buyer. I buy 50 properties a year. And I remember thinking like, yeah, you're a fucking liar. And then I did some research. I found him on LinkedIn. And now mind you, me and Joe, we're really good friends now, right? We actually go out to lunch. We hang out. We're part of a couple other masterminds together. But at the time, I'm like, this is crazy, because I didn't know nobody, right, that bought 50 plus houses a year. That's somebody just blowing smoke. But there's like multiple avenues, right? Like we live in the best day and age, right, of information. Like everything's at our fingertips. Like you can pay for buyers list, but you can go to like socialserve.com, section8.com, right? And you can type in the county that you're looking for. You can go to Zillow for rent, right? So like most people don't even think of it, right? But if they're renting a property on Zillow or Craigslist or something like that, them are landlords, right? They're active. They might be active buyers, or they might be active sellers, right? So it can go either way. Again, I haven't been in it that long, but I built a list just through the process of taking action and just utilizing these systems that are in front of me.
Okay, so now you're building this list. You're pulling these people off of Craigslist. You're pulling them off of Zillow.com. You're pulling them off all these places. You're meeting like Joe Liebers, which I love Joe. Joe's actually be one of our speakers on here. We're going to have him on as a guest.
Nice.
I met Joe 20 years ago, and his very first property sat on it for a year, and I ended up buying it from him. And then we became close friends, talk every day. I talked to Joe an hour before I got on this call, actually.
Nice.
Great guy.
Yes.
So you take all these people, the Joe Liebers, the me's, whomever they are, that you make contact. How are you staying in front of them? Are you sending out constant emails to everybody saying, I have this house for sale? Are you marketing the heck out of your houses? Or are you just keeping relationships going? Or what's next?
Yeah, so like you're going to weed through a lot of the people, right? You only need a handful of buyers, right? So even though I got a list of 34,000, a lot of people might actually be on my list. I don't send out that often. And then what I do though is I do send out property, but I might send out some value also. But what I do though is I extract the people that's actually buying, right? You're going to get a lot of conversations with people that wants to buy, or might have bought one house, but they're looking to buy more. You're actually looking for that 5 or 10 people that are consistently buying, that are real buyers, that's in your market, right? I have a lot of guys now that reach out to me just because I've been in the game for a few years now. They're actually foreign buyers, so I have a lot of buyers reaching out to me now from Dubai, France, the UK, of course the Israel buyers, the UK buyers, the Australia buyers, the Canada buyers. So I got a huge collection of them buyers now. But at the end of the day, you don't need 34,000 buyers to make a deal. You really need 1 or 2 guys to actually make a deal.
Nick, I say the exact same thing. It's so funny. My list isn't near as big as yours. I think I have 7,000 or something, or 8,000 on there. I don't know. But
Dude, what would you say, like 70 or 80,000 or?
No, 7 or
Okay.
8,000.
Okay,
70 or 80. I'm pretty impressed with your 33. But
Yeah.
exactly what you said is the most true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's about the relationship. And I can tell you firsthand, and this is real. Nick is on this webinar with us. We didn't talk much before this at all. These are all unrehearsed questions. I'm just throwing them because I know he can answer them because I know he's a real guy.
Yep.
I'm sure tomorrow we'll debrief. Maybe we'll meet up, have a beer or something, talk. And out of that conversation, we will do a deal. I will buy something or he will buy something or we'll co-do something. I guarantee just spending an hour together, we'll just do a deal.
What would you give me?
It'll just happen organically. And that's how it is with all of our lists. There's no way I'm going to hang out with 7,000 people tomorrow or you're going to hang out with 33,000 people tomorrow.
Yeah, no
But
way.
if you truly talk to a couple or 3 people and go deeper instead of just spreading yourself so thin, you'll do deals.
100%. 100%. Yeah, and then like this is like non-rehearsed. It's not coerced. Like on a serious note, like prior to this, me and the guys here in the office, we was actually at the Mexican joint across the street drinking Corona Reader, right? So like we just came in, we're going to prep for this call, and then the way we prep was by drinking drinks. So this is non-rehearsed, Rob. This is non-rehearsed.
No, this is non-rehearsed. That is for sure. This is not rehearsed. So you have these relationships, and then you have your buyers, and now let's get to the closing part because a lot of people are nervous now. Are you doing assignments of contract? Are you table funding and reselling?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing most of your deals?
Yeah, so initially, we all start off with wholesaling, right? I love wholesaling to death. I actually know that you preach about it a lot, but there's a right way to do wholesaling and a wrong way to do wholesale selling. Initially, I thought wholesaling was just wholesaling. I learned the hard way that there is a right way and there is a wrong way. But so now though, for the past 6 months, 8 months, I was doing kind of like a wholesaling model, which I still am, right? Which the wholesaling model is like I'm selling to a bunch of these foreign investors as like ROI buys, right? It's not quite turnkey to where I put a tenant in place, but I do take the property down. We do some form of rehab to them to get them kind of tenant and ready. But I do a range, right? I wholesale, I hotel, I ROI, I buy and hold. I buy apartment complexes, which unfortunate that I can. So I'm very diverse when it comes into the real estate space now. But initially it was just primarily just wholesaling. I find the property, I get it on the contract. I find a buyer in the back end, and then I sign the contract, and I make my spread in between.
Well, here's one thing that I don't know if anyone's picking up on, but people definitely need to understand. The one thing you're talking about, again, not real seasons, but how many years you've been doing this? I mean, since you came back from Florida?
Yeah, I think 2014 or 15.
Exactly. 2014 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
33,000 people on his list. Buying apartment complexes, moving through all these houses, spending $100,000 on a system. And I can tell you, your net worth is directly tied to your net worth.
100%.
And I know the guys he runs with. We run in the same circles. We know all these same guys. And being in groups like RIA and masterminds and hanging out with each other like this, that will elevate you to levels that you can never believe. When your mom and dad always said, like, birds of a feather flock together. That there's not a more true statement. Nick, what would your life be like today if you never left your old neighborhood and hung out with the same crew that you went to, well, I guess elementary school as your senior year with?
Oh, well, I either probably be dead or back in jail, right? So that's the only two options for guys like myself from where I'm from, right? So like I really only got one friend left from when I grew up. The rest of them are either dead or in jail. So yeah, I mean, if I didn't position myself, if I didn't take initiative, if I didn't self-educate, like with RIA groups or with masterminds, like myself, I spend like 105 grand a year on masterminds. Just being part of different groups, connecting with guys from all over the country. I don't know. I don't even know where myself would be, you know, with from where I'm from and what I did in my early 20s, to the stint that I spent in prison to now. I couldn't imagine even going back, right? It just doesn't comprehend with me. I mean, with what I know now, in what my goals are and what I can see in the future, it's simple in a sense once you understand it. Yeah, but you have to position yourself. You have to take action. You have to put yourself in positions around other people that are doing great things, and that think more, speak more, that says stuff that initially you can't even comprehend. Like, there's no way that's fucking possible, right? And then when you're around them, you see like, holy crap, right? And then again, I'm an East Side guy from the city. My parents was both drug addicts. I'm fortunate enough I bought in my house in Walton Hills, but my parents now live in Walton Hills. They never really did nothing. They're both still they're still comedians, but you know, like me myself, I've been on private jets. I've been in Rolls Royces. I've been all over the country, all over places. I've been fortunate, right? So yeah, so the huge takeaways, you have to position yourself and put yourself around people that are doing what you want.
And honestly, what I love about you, Nick, is this guy, you're so real because you're not embarrassed about the fact of where you came from. And I know for a fact all the stuff you're talking about because we all know the same people. I know everything you're saying about the private jets. I know it's real. We've talked when you're FaceTiming me from them sometimes.
For sure.
And out of that $102,000, I want everyone to know that about $200 that goes right to Rhea because he's part of this group.
That's it. Well, with that and Muscle Vodka too. I swear, I think you overcharged me up on it. I'm almost positive.
Well, you get a bottle just for being on here today because we know this is the real sponsor, Muscle Vodka. There we go.
That's it.
You got to keep the backdrop going. Mm-hmm. That's what it really takes to be in real estate investing is lots of Muscle Vodka.
That's it.
So I know a lot of people are just dying here to ask some questions on this. So let's get some questions flowing for you here, man. Let's see. Let's go over here. Can you access the recording after the webinar? Yes, you can. You can get onto our Facebook, and by next month, we will be doing Facebook Lives, which is going to be really, really cool. So, Nick, they want to know about subject twos. Do you do any subject two type deals?
Nice. So, like subject twos, like my bread and butter. I actually love subject twos. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Well, let's start by describing what a subject two is. Why don't you go ahead and tell what a subject two is?
Okay.
And then let's do an example of one of your deals that you've done in subject two.
Okay, awesome. So like a subject two though, right, is when a property doesn't fit the wholesale model, the retail model, or anything like in that sense. But the seller's really desperate. He's looking to get out. He's looking to get out from underneath it. You know, he maybe might be behind on paying payments or whatnot. So what you do though is that you actually take over the property. And I want to be very careful when you using the terminology. You don't assume the mortgage, but you take care of the mortgage. So the property actual will transfer into your name. Now this is how I do it. There's other people out there that might do it a little different. So I actually have the property transfer into one of my LLCs. It either might be I might create an LLC of the property address of 123 Main Street LLC, or whatever the case may be. And then you kind of take over the payments, right? You ensure the seller, like, look, you know, this is the best option. The only way to help you is if I make the payments on your property. Your property per se isn't worth, me taking down. There's not enough equity in the property. But what would happen is that I can pay the equity down. I can add value to the property. In 5-10 years, I can refinance out and, kind of buy the property and put it in my name, put my own mortgage in place or whatnot. So a subject to is when the mortgage stays in place For me, the property transfers into one of my LLC, and then I set up an account to where I pay the monthly mortgage payment each month. Now, mind you, for me to consider a property as a subject to, the property lease has to fit the amount of rent for the area to justify me to take the property down.
Right. Now, one good little point out that we've always done with our subject twos, if Nick's giving me a property subject to, he has a mortgage in his name, but he's going to deed it to us.
Mhm.
And Nick wants to make sure that we're going to make the payment. And I want to make sure that Nick's not going to make his Porsche payment with the money I send him. You can make out the payment to the bank, mail it to Nick. He knows I made it, and I know he mailed it because there's no reason for him not to.
Yeah, correct. So what I actually do is that I get the information, right? So I either set it up on auto payment through like their online portal. So of course I have them sign a paper that gives me their social, their mortgage account, and all that. So I'm able to log on to online, or like if it's a smaller mortgage company or smaller bank, they tend to transfer ownerships a lot. Like I have a property I purchased on the west side. I've only owned it for maybe 2 years, and it's probably been through like 4 different like banks or owners. But what happens though is that it just all transfers. I just set up an auto pay so that I know myself that the property is being paid for. I'm not giving the money to the seller or to some individual. I'm paying it directly to the mortgage company itself.
Yeah. Now, one thing too, when you transfer a property out of somebody's name, it's important to know that these are not really transferable mortgages. There's a Garment-St. Germain Act initiated due on sale clause, which they can accelerate the mortgage and say it's all due.
Correct.
However, that's usually caught in the insurance department if you're going to remove the initial owner from the insurance and add yourself. So you want to add yourself as additional insured in there.
Correct.
I know we just dove pretty deep into subject to. Maybe we can have a whole another
Yeah.
session on this. Bring it back
Yeah. Is that subject twos is a whole different conversation, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great way to control properties, take them over, and not have to have a bunch of money out of pocket.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when the property doesn't fit the model that you're in, right? So it's like like a subject to just gives you that extra like niche inside your belt, that extra ability to offer a seller and to offer help, right? Because at the end of the day, our business is to offer help, right? Like we're there to help. We're not there to take advantage, right? We're there to educate people, to show them what their property is really worth. And sometimes the property doesn't fit, our initial buying needs, but the subject to comes in place to where we can help somebody out.
Oh, exactly. And that's what I love about you is you're a transaction engineer, and that's what you have to be. You can't be a one-trick pony. Everyone's always like, well, what's your business model? Well, your business model is to solve a problem.
100%.
That's really what it is. It's like going to a doctor and saying, well, what medicine do you prescribe, doc? Well, it depends what's wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it depends. So you want to have lots of tools in the box there. All right, we have Scott asked you, hello, Nick. Where do you pull your probate direct mail list?
Yeah, so it's different for county, right? So Cuyahoga County, you can actually go down to the courthouse. I found a way that you can pull it online. It's like a 3-process step, right? So it's kind of complicated to find it, and you have to know which files to pull, right? So like probate just isn't probate because somebody died, right? So probate could be you're having like some kid dispute, or you're in dispute with your partner for I don't want to say ownership of the kid, but like child support or something, right? But something to play, right? So probate just isn't because somebody passed away. There's a whole bunch of issues it could be, but you got to find out like what the 3-letter code is, right? So for Cuyahoga County, I believe it's EST. So Cuyahoga County, it's EST. For Lorain County, it's ES, right? So it's the first 3 letters or first 2 letters of each doc that determines if it's a probate that with something that has property attached to it. So probate's a little complicated. I dived into it because it was a free lead source, and I just involved into it, just kind of just immersed myself into it. Because at the time I didn't have much cash flow to to purchase a list, to skip trace a list, and then to upload, load it, and do a direct mail campaign.
Right. No, that's great. And here's some advice too: is when you're doing probates, the EST would be a state, and you can buy these lists. We use RealFlow. RealFlow, you can get the list off of there by county. You pay for them, way easier. And I always tell people there's different ways to do things. Clearly, you can buy lists, you can skip trace, whatever it is. I use RealFlow because you can just point, click, it loads them up. You get the telephone number, just easy. It's simplicity. So I can give you guys a RealFlow link if you guys want to message on here, and you can get a free trial on that. But it definitely works. You do want to. My opinion is, I don't like to hit someone fresh on probate. Like you don't want to start calling people when they're still picking out the coffin.
Yeah,
you want to wait. Give them about 3 to 5 months because the funeral's over, the house is getting cleaned out. The reality of sitting in on the grass cuts or snow plows and the utility bills and the city violations and everything else. And now's really the time to start hitting them. Don't hit them too soon, in my opinion. That's just my takeaway I wanted to add in there.
No, 100%, 100%. Like probate actually, like enlightened me, and then it showed me this, like off topic though. It showed me that, like you can work your hardest for everything, and when you pass away, don't nobody gives a shit about what you did or what you thought was special, right? Because I bought houses, like personally, I bought houses that's been fully furnished with their pictures of their family still on like the mantles, and they're like, "Oh, it's cool. No, we don't need it." I'm like, "Holy crap!" Like this was.
No, let me tell you, Nick. Let me tell you, man. Not happened once; it's happened twice. I've had the remains of someone left behind.
Yeah.
A cremated person in the box. They have a little plastic black box with a snap with their bag of ashes.
Exactly.
And it has their name on it. They go, "Nah, you can just keep her."
Dude,
like, what am I gonna do with your grandmother? Like, I don't want this. I don't want to throw it away. That's like bad juju. It's like a movie made out of stuff like this.
Exactly, 100%. And that kind of like, especially like my earlier career and everything, I'm like, holy crap, I'm not leaving my kids shit, right? If they don't understand, they're not doing me like this at all, right?
And that's what I say to people too. I mean, everyone thinks that like their kid wants their crap. They don't. They're like, well, I'm saving this for my kids. They don't want it.
They don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want the mess or the harassment or nothing. So
no, they don't want the farm house. They don't want the house they grew up in.
No. So if you could just sell it and just enjoy the money yourself, right? That's what I've learned.
Exactly. Okay, we have Kelly here. I'm asking, do you target Class A, meaning properties over $250,000 with probate?
I mean, like, so probate's different, right? So you can, like probate, you already know their what's the word I'm looking for? So you already know their hardship, right? You already know their pain. So most of the time, the fiduciary that has control of the property, they don't give a shit if the house is worth 250, 200, 100K or whatnot, right? They're just looking to unload it. And if there's multiple people that's attached to the probate, they're all just looking to unload it, right? So like one of the first deals I did, again, like I was fortunate in my first, when I closed like 3 different transactions. Of course, I think two was with Rob actually, and one was with somebody else, but it was all probate leads or whatnot. And they didn't care, the houses was worth so much or whatnot. So with probate, you can target whatever. If there's a asset attached to the probate case, I would mail it to it, or I would RVM it, or I would call it.
Exactly. You gotta touch them multiple ways, man. Call them, text them, mail them, hit their Facebook list, knock on their door, talk to their neighbors. Do it.
Because probate people are different. Like they're not. If they're not in the real estate space, they can care less about the property. They have their own house, their own family. Yep. They don't want the burden of having to clean out their mother-in-law's house or their father-in-law's house or their mother's house. They don't want the burden, again, like Rob stated, paying taxes, paying electric, gas, because you got to keep all that stuff on, or pipes bust, or the water bill or whatnot. So they're just looking pretty much just to unload the property. And of course, you want to be fair to them. You want to give them the right offer. But at the end of the day, they're looking to pretty much just to walk away. I mean, it's free money to them.
Exactly. Exactly. And you got to keep working. I mean, you got to work the leads. That's all there is to it. You either get a contract or get a restraining order. You just keep working.
That's it. That's it. Just have them tell me to beat feet to leave you alone, and then next you know you're sending stuff to them in the mail. Just come on, I'm here. I'm still here.
Exactly. All right. Here's one from Ron. He wants to know how you give incentive to your assistants and your team. How do you incentivize these guys and
All right,
gals?
so look, okay, so look, so like I have it's called an earned weekly pay, right? So like, so that my guys make a salary inside, right? But it's called an earned salary, right? So I just don't give them free money, right? So like each one of my acquisition guys, they have to get 3 contracts a week. Each contract's worth $100 a piece. And then each day they have to do KPIs. They have to KPIs. They have to show up at 8:30 in the morning, and they have to train for 1 hour a day. So they have to do that 3 times a day, right? So they have to do all that each day for 5 days a week in order to get $100. So they get an earned salary of $400 a week on top of 6% insurance on every deal that close, or 6%. They get 6% of the gross profit of every deal that close.
And you give them 6% of the post profit.
Correct.
That's
6% of gross. Yep. Yeah. So
That's
like my guys make really good money. We do a significant amount of deals a month.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you're saying they get 3 contracts a week?
They have to get 3 contracts, bare minimum.
Okay. So if you have 3 contracts a week coming in, it's going to be 12 in a month. If you close half of those at 600, or if you close 6 of those things.
Yeah. So our average profit per deal is $10,360. We have about a 60% close rate ratio, just because of title issues and what that comes in the back end. So we kind of know our numbers. So the guys make a significant amount of money.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you have $10,000 times 6 deals in it. Well, if you have 66%, which is a little better than 6, so you have someone making $6,000 a month plus their $400 a week. That's their 16. So $6,000-7,000 a month hanging out with Nick and having liquid lunches. Not bad.
Exactly. I pay for everything.
You pay for everything. There you go. All right. Samantha wants to know is, hey Nick, how do you deal with vacant houses, absentee owners, out of state? This is a newbie, and what is the conversion? What does that conversation look like?
So they're all pretty much the same conversation, right? Because like you're sitting on the same postcard. So so like the postcards I use, it doesn't switch up between vacant, absentee, or whatnot. I actually use a Google Street, a Google View postcard, so it kind of puts the picture of the house on the postcard, saying, "Hey, we're looking to buy it." So the conversation is pretty much the same. And you have to remember this, if you send them a postcard and they're calling into you, you have to remember, even if you're a newbie, you have to make yourself the professional. You have to make yourself as the higher authority, right? They're already calling in, expecting you to be the person with the information, right? So just when they call in, you process the lead the same way. You follow a script. Again, you don't sound like a robot, but you follow a script. You just ask the questions. You get the information so that you can give the best offer possible. And you just remember, you are the authority when they're calling in. So if you send them a postcard and they're calling you, they have a need or a want. You just have to find it.
Absolutely. Could not agree more, man. All right. So here, in closing with you, Nick, let's say you're not that, like I said, long in the tooth here. So you don't remember, it wasn't that long ago when you were a newbie. So what is the best advice you can give to people that are trying to kick up? Either they're trying to go from 0 to hero, or maybe they're trying to go from that 1 to 10 or 2 to 8, whatever it is, trying to grow.
Yeah.
Give us a piece of advice that they can write down and live by, and they can fall asleep thinking about tonight, wake up thinking about in the morning.
Yep. Appreciate the struggle and don't give up, right? It's going to happen. It's part of life, right? There ain't shit that's easy. Nothing's given, right? It's only earned. So appreciate the struggle and never give up.
Love it, man. Nick, thanks so much for being on here today, man. We really appreciate it. You can reach out to Nick. Nick's a very easy guy to find out there. You can look up, just Google Nick Phipps. You'll find him everywhere.
Wait a minute. If you Google Nick Phipps, it might lead you to some other stuff, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Again, the honesty, man. I love it. I love it. It's great.
Sure.
And he does everything he says because he tried to hustle me on a deal. He got there, he got the contract, we're at closing, and he calls trying to renegotiate. I'm like, Nick, that doesn't work with me. That's with other people.
You have to, Rob. Damn it. Dealing with Rob.
But I appreciate the hustle, man. I loved it. It's like, that's why you're on here, man, because you're a true, real guy. So thanks so much, Nick. And next month, we're pretty excited because you can come join us again, and we're going to be live, which is really cool. So if you're interested in becoming a member or a vendor, you can be one of our cool sponsors, which we are going to start switching up the vendor spots a little bit here in the upcoming meetings. Instead of putting them all at the beginning, we're going to sprinkle them in more like a talk show where you're going to have an interview, stop for a minute, have a couple of vendors, have some more interview, stop for a minute, have a couple of vendors, and it'll be sprinkled throughout so you get more exposure. Or if you'd like to be a member, like we learned with Nick today, it's all about the connections we make. We make the connections, and you can go to greatclevelandrea.com, or you can just call the REIA number there at 440-485-3443. But the cool part about it is, hopefully, God willing, this is not a big uprising of COVID again. Next month, we are going to be live again, which is going to be super cool. And live, we're still going to do the Facebook. We're going to try to go Facebook Lives and have a recorded webinar along with this, but we'll be live. And what that really means is being together in a room. It's not even about what we're hearing with Nick. It's not about just like listening what he says or what I say. It's about the interaction. It's about the deals that are done in the hallway after the meeting. It's about going over and having your muscle vodka cocktail over there in the cocktail lounge at the Holiday Inn and sitting there BSing until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night and end up doing a deal with somebody. So I'm really excited to start seeing people again. I've seen a few of my peeps here during this whole lockdown, but I'm excited to see all of you again and actually get together because there are a lot of deals that get done when all this palm pressing goes on with the sanitizer, of course, at our live meetings. So next month, we don't know exactly what our topic's going to be, but I can promise you it's going to be entirely educational, all informative, and there will be no pitch fest at the end of it. And you can check out our Facebook page where you can get off-market properties. You can get a recording of this webinar, and you can contact all of our vendors either on the Facebook page or at thegreaterclevelandrea.com. I appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thanks so much. And make sure you reach out to Mr. Phipps. And thanks again, Nick, for being here. And we look forward to seeing everyone next month live and in person.
Awesome, man.